Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to PSGL. Welcome to the very first round of Season 28 of the F2 tier. We head to the Bahrain International Circuit for round 1, but with a twist, as the drivers will be racing on the short version of the circuit. We've got 10 rounds, and by the 31st of May, we will find out who's the F2 champion. We've got different lineups this season for drivers, and we've also got a different commentary partner joining me this season. My name is Jess, and joining me, we've got Mr. Owen Wyatt. How you doing?
Hello Jess, hello audience, welcome along. It's F2, back where it all started. And as you say, we've got a short track. Can't wait to see how the drivers handle this one. It's going to be a great season, looking forward to it.
Yeah, we've got 19 drivers here tonight, possibly 20 if Gil decides to, hopefully his PSN just fixes itself. But we've got 10 races this season, which we'll go through briefly now before we head to qualifying. So we've got obviously Bahrain short tonight, which is a 100% race. Otherwise, it would last about 20 minutes or so. Round 2, we've got Singapore. Round 3, we've got head to Austria. Then we've got Belgium, Netherlands, France, Canada, Japan, Azerbaijan and Brazil. And to be honest, I kind of, apart from, well, Singapore's not too bad, but I like the calendar as a whole, and I think we could expect a much closer season due to the fact that it's a much, I've got to say, a much better calendar, but, you know, it should be interesting to see how the drivers fare on all these 10 tracks this season.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Especially since it is, as you say, a shorter calendar this season. It means you absolutely have to perform at every race. And that's where you get some shocks in the strategy, I think. It is going to be very varied. And so I am looking forward to see how they all handle. I do wonder how they all feel about this being a short track to start it all off with, because it might just send it into a slight bit of chaos already. So I like that. It's going to be fast and furious.
Not many.
Yeah, we're getting some cars already out for qualifying already, so we might get an early indication of where we're all looking.
Yeah, not many leagues actually run Bahrain short. I think a few run it quite recently. It's starting to become a trend now that a lot of leagues run it, and to be honest, I like it. Bahrain's a good track, like we've seen yesterday in the real life, but shame the oval layout is not there. But anyway, whilst people are on their out laps and flying laps, we'll go through the grid for this season. So we've got the Mercedes, we've got M. Short, who was the F3 champion last season. There he is. We've got, I can't even pronounce his name. I don't think he's, yeah, he is here tonight. Azicom in the Mercedes as well. In the Red Bull, we've got Petrox and Suku. In the McLaren, we've got Toxic Tomato and Young Power. In the Ferrari, we've got Cedric and Benny. In the Racing Point, we've got Season 26 F1 champion Gil, along with KJ Altink, who has made the jump to full-time this season. We've got CC Brain and Greeny in the Renault. CC Brain is not here tonight, so we've got a reserve of Antoine filling in for him. We've got Luca and Wild Valley in the AlphaTauri, Fabi and Makino in the Alfa Romeo, Ballina and Lars in the Haas, and we've got, in the Williams, we've got Hadler and Jerry. So there we go. Those are your 20 drivers on the grid. Any drivers that struck by you that could be an early championship favourite?
Well, there's a bit of bias because obviously I've seen what Gil can do when he's really up to speed. As you say, being F1 champion a couple of seasons ago, and he had moved to the wheel last year, and that sort of slowed his progress down. But second season with the wheel now, a bit of a lower tier, easier to get good results when you're down this low, I guess, compared to where he's used to be. So this could be a good platform for him to really get back up to speed. And quality time's already coming in now. Look how close it is. I know we always expect it to be close in this league, but my goodness, 2/10 between the top 11, so you can already see that there. But yeah, certainly him. I've seen Petrus as well a few times racing, and he seems to be relatively competitive, but Toxic Tomato as well. But yeah, we'll see how they all get on. I don't want to make any predictions too early because then I'll be wrong. I'm wrong too much.
Yeah, I made the same mistake last season. I was like, right, I think Banner's going to do well. He was looking good on time trial and in Grand Prix mode, and then he was like, I think 5th or 6th or something like that. I can't remember where he finished last season, but he still did well towards the end, helping his teammate, who is now in F1, win the F2 championship. But this is a no assist tier as well, so some of these guys that made the jump from F3 to F2, they used the no line for the first time, so that is a challenge in itself for some of these drivers to turn the line off, because I don't think I would have done it. But Toxic Tomato had to do it last season. He was the F2 champion for season 26. didn't go on it very well, but I think since his second season with no line, I think he should be okay with it. But for some of the drivers, we've got to keep a close eye on the ones that are using no line for the first time, definitely. See if they can get up to speed very quickly. I hope so anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, shortened season might make it a bit more difficult, but they wouldn't be here if they didn't have the speed in the first place to have the chance. So I do think they should be all right, everybody. But yeah, let's see how we all get on. One thing we're pointing out for this qualifying session, by the way, you might have already noticed it on the timing tower. People are now doing multiple laps on the same tower because as it's such a short track, you probably can get 2 or 3 laps out of each set of soft compound tires. And you'd probably still be able to use all 4 if you decide to go for the softer option. So it will be a much more hectic session. That's why you're seeing the top 2 there with 2 laps done, Joey with 3 laps on his tires. And yeah, a little less pressure to get a great lap done straight away. And it should mean, let's say, we get the best drivers at the top early on. But yeah, 8/100ths of a second separating that top 6 at the minute. So hectic already. Only 4 drivers were at a time on the board at the moment.
Yeah, Roll Valley has retired from the session. I think he may have binned it or something. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I mean, I was expecting 57s like towards the end of the session, but we're getting 57s right now early on as well. So to be honest, they've been quick from the get-go, and I think it's very important, especially with this short track, to get it done early on, and then otherwise you'll probably end up invalidating turn 4. Now turn 4 is a corner to watch out for in this league, because if you invalidate, well, if you exceed track limits in turn 4, you will get penalised for it. We're on board with Antoine as he goes aboard his lap. Got to be careful that people try. Oh, yeah, he's already invalidated turn 4. So I was about to comment on the hot lap, but unfortunately the hot lap curse continues.
And it looks like we've lost Gil as well from the session. He's just left the lobby, so his issues continuing there. At least he got 8 time on the board, but yeah, hopefully he can get back for the end of the session. Another problem I'm going to have around here, maybe at the end, is the traffic, because again, such a short track, so many cars out there. And that is going to create a little bit of trouble. Hopefully, like I say, with multiple laps on each tire, it won't be a massive problem if you get held up at one point, but still something worth putting out for the end of the session. But at the minute, still Ballner up at the top in his Haas, but plenty more to come out. And as I say that, Petrus, he's gone up by 600ths in his Red Bull.
Not surprised to see him up there. He got pole in Abu Dhabi, the second to last round of the season last season. Unfortunately, he would have got the win, but he did get penalised for cutting the pit exit. You're not allowed to cut the pit exit here either, otherwise you will get penalised for it. So maybe this could give him the confidence that he needs to potentially convert his pole to an actual win this time if he doesn't cut the pit lane. As Makina goes into P2 right now. Everyone is just so close, like I said. I just can't predict who's going to get pole position. I'm just seeing if Greeny's actually going to start a lap in the Renault. I think Choxy hasn't started a lap either. He's going into the pits right now, but oh no, a few people leaving the session. That's not good. Banner's left the session. I think since everyone's on a few laps on the tyres, the softs can last about, I think, 24 laps around here. I'm not surprised that they're going on for longer than 2 or 3 laps on each set of tyre, but if they do it for their final runs, then they may be in a bit of trouble, as the softs do tend to overheat quite quickly around here, as I find racing around here. Bahrain short may be different because there's not many heavy braking zones. I think the heavy braking zone, I would say, is heading into turn 1, and that's pretty much it. Maybe towards, I would say, this braking zone here coming up to turn 4. M Short, let's go on board with M Short now, actually, as he heads on his lap, pass through turn 4, nails it quite nicely. This is the next DRS zone, which is originally turn 10, 11 on the original track. And actually, I think he's on 2 laps on softs. He's not on a lap, so I'm just trying to find someone on a lap.
It's so hard, isn't it? I can't find anybody at the minute. Hopefully they're a bit easier to find later on. Young Powers are currently on for P2 if he keeps his pace up. So let's see him. He's going to get a bit of a slipstream from Antoine as well. He might well have taken a little bit of that. Here he comes to the line. And he is going P2. Just about 1/4 of P1, which is currently Elting on a 57.6.
I think Young Power is hoping to do something that Benjamin done last season. Join PSGL F2 straight off the bat without being in any other tiers in previous seasons because he was new, and potentially claim the F2 championship, which will be nice to see a new champion, but we may get someone who has been in the league for a very long time claim the title, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. But anyone else on the lap? We've got the Mercedes on a lap as he goes. Yeah, Tox is on a lap as he goes toward final
purple
corner.
on this. Purple according to the game, but not quite enough in the final sector. Squeezing there into third place, it really is just the smallest of margins at the minute. But as you said, we have got a Mercedes on the map. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, as he heads towards, I can't remember what turn it is. He has 10 turns, so it's quite a shortened track as he's purple sector 2 in game. I wonder if it's going to be purple sector 2 in general, as the game likes to tend to lie about it, as he locks up a bit heading towards turn 9 and 10. Let's see what he could do. Takes the left-hand side to the line this time. 57.7 puts him in P5. He does improve by 2 tenths, so not a bad lap. He's ahead of his teammate M Short in P7. And we got Fabi, who's in pole position with a 57.6. Now that is a good lap from him. Not that far behind KJ, actually.
Yeah, it really is. It's I just can't believe how close it is. There's a few people out there who even have exactly the same lap time, like M Short and Lana McQueen. I'm surprised there's not a few more like that. We had that situation in F1 a few times last season. But Truce is on another lap. He's gone much quicker in his first sector than he had last time. And we might as well follow him to see how he gets on. A bit wide through what would be, turn 5, turn 6, something like that. Might have cost him a little bit of time. We'll see his middle sector split. Yellow flag for the cars moving over. That shouldn't really affect him too much. He has lost a bit of time in that middle sector. But let's see what he can do into the final braking zone, into turn 9, and then through the exit of turn 10. Devious little corner if you get caught on the curb, as Petrus sort of has a little bit. I don't think this is going to improve his time by very much, if at all.
Nah.
And it hasn't. He stays P5. Still, though, 6.5 minutes. Plenty of time around here to get a few more laps on the board.
Fabi's teammate, McKenna, just comes across the line there into P2, and I have to say, and when I was looking at the grid lineups for F2 this season, the ones who I think are going to be fighting for the good starters has got to be these two. McKenna got his first podium, I think it was in Mexico, and he was reserved. Fabi got some good results last season as well, but there were a lot of faster drivers in him in the league as well. I believe Fabi is the highest placing F2 driver from last season in this grid, so he's definitely going to be one of the favourites, but we do know a lot of people putting the practice in. KJ's about to start a lap, and I'm not surprised everyone's that close already. M Short's about to finish, well, carry on his lap as well. Everyone has done multiple stints on pretty much around this track. It's just like, if you don't do multiple stints around this track, you're going to be probably in a lot of trouble, but we'll see as M Short goes to the, probably I would say, understeery central part of the track, heading towards turn 6. Yes, it is. I can't remember what turn it is, but there we go. I'm Short. That was a bit, he had a little bit of a wheel spin there, something that I tend to do on this game around here, around Bahrain, but he's looking quite comfortable in the final part of the sector, but I don't think it's going to be higher than 10th. No, into the pits he goes.
He'd lost too much time at that moment. Being a 10th down after sector 2 is pretty much a death sentence on this track, because that takes you straight into the top 10 before you even started. So, yeah, I'm not surprised he's given that lap up. How many people are going to be in the pits at the minute, going for their last sets of tyres, I wonder? I don't think we see too many on a lap. Antoine is currently on a lap. He's 3 tenths off pole, but he's just invalidated his lap in the Renault, so that's not going to be any improvement. Is Suko on a lap? No, he is not. We have got, I think, Eltington on a lap. P3 man was P1 briefly earlier on in the session, so let's see if he can get himself back up there. Bit of a lock up into 4, but still hits the apex and gets the exit as well. DRS coming up here where it usually is for the F1 full track. And it's a tiny little smidge down in the first sector, but plenty of time to be made throughout the lap if we can hit these apexes. Understeer central, as we've dubbed it. No understeer to really talk about there though for Elting. He's kept it all on the line. Bit slidey through turn 7 into turn 8. Bit of a lock up as well. Misses the apex, a bit wide as well.
Oh.
Invalid 2.
Well, he had all 4 wheels off the track by the sound of things. He was right to the left there, so that would have been, I think that would have been pole, as he was looking very comfortable through that middle part of the sector, so he'll probably have to go into the pits again and go up for one final time. I wonder if he has any tyres left to use for the remainder of the session, because you only have a certain amount of tyres to use in qualifying, but I'm guessing maybe not, or you may have to go on a U set. We got Young Power comes across the line. It wasn't faster anyway. I think it was just a bank lap. Everyone's in the pits now, apart from Young Power and Gil. Is he on the lap? No,
Gil?
No, he's not.
Not using his DRS, is he, Gil? He's on the full power mode, but his DRS not open. So maybe the game's lying to me about his DRS there. I don't know why he wouldn't be using his DRS at this stage, because he is currently last at the moment. Only 4 tenths off the pace, mind you, but that's what last is, sadly, on this track. My umpire, we might as well go and look at him, because he is on the lap still. He's up in his first sector by just over a quarter of a tenth, which is not a bad start, really, if you're looking to try and make some positions when he's this close. Let's see his middle sector. He's kept it all valid. And he's up by a whole tenth of a second now. He's looking at pole position if he can just keep this all up as he heads into the final 2 corners now. No real problems through 9. Good exit through 10. As he comes up towards the line, DRS blasting across the line. It's P1. It's a 57.5.
Wow.
And now we've got everybody else out of the track, so it's going to get very, very hectic now. He might well be quite happy he got that lap in earlier.
Yeah, so I think a few people left it too late there, but you can get, I think, pretty much 2 laps in this section when you go out with 3 minutes to go, but maybe leaving it out earlier will probably be best for him. Greeny's out on the lap as well. I don't think anyone is... look, 4 tenths separate between first and 20th. That's probably the closest I've seen in F2 in the last few seasons I've commentated, but Greeny's getting through the DRS straight now. Yep, he looks very comfortable there. Past turn 6. Oh, he didn't look comfortable through there, though. This may compromise his run heading in towards turn 7. And he's got a car in front of Suku. I'm probably going to get some of these names wrong by the end of tonight, but I will get it right next week as he comes across towards, I think, turn 9 and 10. Hits that apex nicely. I don't think it's going to be faster. He will have 1 more lap to go, though. And it is a 57.8, which is 7 thousandths quicker. I think if he didn't have that issue earlier on the lap, I think he would have gone, like, I would say, P11, P12, I would say. I don't even know that the small mistakes just cost you around there.
Right, this is where I'm going to regret trying to see if I can see everybody on their laps. Producer's coming across the line now. He's not up by enough to go P1 through the middle sector. Let's see if he finds any more in that last sector. Not enough, he hasn't even improved on his time. With it being so close, you'll have to make sure he nails this next lap. A few more coming through to start their laps. Power has had enough. He's in the pits. He's not going to have enough time to get a lap on the board. A few cars finishing laps. Hadler's invalidated. We've got 2 Mercedes. First is Ascon. He's gone P2. M Short is going to go, and he's going to find no improvement. We've got a Renault of Greeny LRC, but he's down, and he's going to spin as well. So everyone's got to make sure they don't run to him. Luca has avoided him. And he's cut up to the line. Can he do anything and improve his time? He has. He's gone up to P9. We've got a Red Bull. Suko replaces him in P9. We've got a Williams of Joey. And he's just on a banker lap there. We've got Gil, I believe that is. No, it's his teammate Elting. And he is starting a lap. So many cars coming across. Alfa Romeo. Fabi also on a slower lap. His teammate, Lamaquina, is invalidated on his lap. Cedric's in towards the pit lane, and we've got Toxic Tomato also on a slow lap. They're all waiting for the very last run, but every time across the line now will be their last one. The checkered flag is out. Hadler, this is his final run in qualifying, and he's gone straight up to P3. Nice lap there from him. We're waiting on, I believe, Ascon coming out of the final corner, but he's heading in towards the pits. A lot of people got their laps done early. Luke is going slowly as well. Joey is on a flying lap, so we'll see how he gets on. Still, Par up at the very top of the timing sheets, but here comes Joey right in his final corner. Currently sitting P12. He's got the best of the track to his advantage though now, and he's gone up to P4, just behind his teammate. Williams running 3 and 4 at the minute. Elting is up by a lot of time. Wow. He's up to a 57.4. Brilliant lap there. Suko's on his way into the pit lane. Here comes the Alfa Romeo boys of Lamaquina. First of all, he's also going to be into the pit lane. A lot of people not quite getting these times done at the very end of the session. Toxic Tomato, he's going to finish his lap. Where's he going to go? He stays in P8. And here comes Fabi on his way to the pits as well. What about Lars? He's also pitting. So many people weren't really able to get a time on the board there, and I believe we're all done now. Jeez, that was frenetic stuff, but it is Eltink who is on pole as it stands. And I don't think there's anyone out there to beat him because Gil's only out on an outlap, so I believe that's us.
Yeah, that's us done. Wow. What a way to kick off F2. I mean, like, only a few tenths in and you would be like in outside the top 10. That's how close it was. And it is this man, the Racing Point driver, well, no longer will be Racing Point at the end of this season, but KJ Eltink in pole with a 57.4. The Umbra 57.5, I'm just looking at the differences between first and second. 85 thousandths, and then we got 1/10 between first and third. And then it's not even 2/10 between first and eighth right now. I don't know who we're waiting for. It's Gil. That's,
I think
no.
Gil's having some sort of problems, but luckily the timer will sort of bail us out on this one. But I think Gil is having some sort of connection problem still, because obviously he's not really in control of what's going on there. But hopefully that'll all be sorted out. But yeah, as we say, that is one of the closest grids I've ever seen. And you would expect that, I guess, with a short track, but it is just under 0.3 of a second separating that whole top 15. So it is going to be just such a close race based on that. And yeah, I cannot wait to see how they all get on. I just want to see Gil's lap finally finish.
Please. He's actually on a flyer now, according to the game. But his ERS is stuck on 100. Oh no, he's gone to 97.
It says his first sector he's left now.
Oh.
It said his first sector was about 1 minute 20 seconds, so it was all very bugged.
Yes.
But that would explain why we saw him earlier not using his DRS, because he just wasn't in control of his car that whole time. But here we go. Here is the grid then in full. Eltink's on pole position in the Racing Point team, of course, who won this race when it was the Bahrain short in real life. Slightly different layer, but it still counts. Young Par second, Ascombin's third, Hadler fourth, Joey fifth, Fabi and McQueen in second and seventh. Toxic Tomato, Petrus and Lars complete the top 10. All will be starting on the soft tyres. Suko is in 11th with Luca, M Short, Cedric, Balner, Greeny, Antoine, Benny, Gill and World Rally completing the second half of the grid. World Rally retiring early in the session. Maybe a bit more time in him. We'll see what he can do from the back of the grid. Just half a second separating that grid.
Yes, and it's not 29 laps or 28 laps or 50%. It's actually 57 laps for the 100% race, which they'll be doing, which equates to around about, I would say, an hour, 15 minutes or so, an hour. I don't know. I can't do maths, but there we go. I have to say, one of the advantages here for these drivers, they're not going to experience any weather. They were only practicing on the dry because it hardly ever rains in Bahrain on this game. I kind of wish it did, but it doesn't unless you get the sprinklers out. But in the full track, at least, you're almost certain it's going to be hard to do the softer mediums. In Bahrain short, probably a lot easier to do the softer mediums. I think it's the most recommended strategy according to the graphic that you saw at the beginning of the stream. It lasts about, like I said, if I get the strategy up quickly, there we go. 24-26 will be when they pit for the soft tyres. If they would do softer mediums, that'll be most people anyway. But the ones on the mediums, they can go 33 laps on them and then they can go on softs to the end. I wouldn't touch the hards at all on this Bahrain short track. Definitely in the full layout, but definitely not this short layout. But maybe the drivers will prove otherwise. It's hard to decide strategy here because we hardly ever league race on here with a one stop. But everyone is getting ready to start the proceedings as well, and I wonder who's going to be our first winner this season. We'll have to wait and see in about 50 minutes time.
Yeah, I'm still not going to try and predict anything. That quali session being so close, it really could be anyone. It could all be about this first corner as well, which of them get knocked out, because I'm feeling there's going to be quite a lot of action into here. One of the main overtaking zones, almost more crucial than the full track, because obviously turn 4 isn't nearly as good for overtaking, maybe, as you would expect in the real circuit, the real lawn circuit. You'll see what I mean up here. There's normally like go all the way down. So we saw Verstappen try and complete his move yesterday on Hamilton. And now, much tighter corner. Not really the best, but we'll see how they all go. But yeah, certainly turn 1 might well be the most crucial. And as you say, no one is on the hards. Soku is on them. He's in 10th place though. I wonder if the order is a bit messed up, because I see Toxic Tomato is sitting P20. He wasn't sitting P20 earlier. I wonder if we had some sort of timing problems there. But either way, he's at the back now.
I think he left the session earlier on.
Yeah, maybe there were some issues there with him, because he's even behind World Rally. But, well, he's last. Anyway, he's last. So that's odd. But I'm sure Suku's not going to complain too much. Maybe it'll fix itself when they get onto the grid proper. But he's now sitting 10th on mediums rather than 11th. So, yeah, only time you'd see anyone on the hards, I guess, that they have any sort of early accidents. That's the only way I'd expect it. But they'd be just so slow at the end of the race anyway. I'd imagine it'd want off them before long anyway. But here we go. Formation lap already completed. It's that quick to get round here.
Yeah, we've got most people outside the top 10 on the mediums, but we've got Luca, Antoine, Gil, and Toxic on the softs. I think Toxic qualified in the top 10 anyway, so we have to start on the softs as we're just waiting for everybody to get onto the grid to start the first race of season 28. 10 races of this season. Who's going to be champion at the end of it? We'll have to find out, but let's get through this first race first.
Indeed. Let's get everyone to the end of the race. Let's get everyone to the end of that first lap. No one had any major disasters here. Let's have a good, clean start to the race. If we just wait for the lights to come on now. 57 laps ahead of us here. And here we go. The lights are on. We've got Eltic on pole. We've got Jon Power in second place. That's the front row. Racing point from McLaren, and the season is underway. Let's see how they all get through towards turn 1. Elting had a really good start. He's going to be well clearing towards turn 1. Williams of Hadler trying to get alongside Jon Power towards turn 1. He's going alongside but decides to back out. That lets his teammate Joey try and go around outside of him, and I think he's got the position as they head up the hill. Mercedes and Alphas and Haas is trying to get involved as well, and Jon Power has just crowded out Joey, who gets tapped by the Mercedes. A few cars taken to the runoff area, but they all appear to be getting through facing the right direction, Jess.
I was expecting it to be a lot more carnage than usual lap ones in Bahrain short, but they kept it clean so far. But we got Lars, who is making a move past the Alfa Romeo. So the Alfa Romeo is dropping down the order too. No damage from anyone of the drivers. Yet Gil has dropped down to last place. Benny's dropped down to 19th place. There's all sorts of cars going 3 wide heading into turn 7. We've got Luca going side by side with the Alphas. The Alphas seem to be struggling on the opening lap. Nakin has actually gained a position. Petrox tries to dive it around the right-hand side of McKean. Couldn't quite make it stick. Luca, I think, had to stay behind Petrox for the time being as KJ? Yeah, KJ's leading actually. Now with Jon Power in second, Joey in third, and a few... Oh, we're getting the timing glitch again.
An accident. Sorry to interrupt, but Lucas got his braking all wrong. A bit like Dan Tickton in the F2. And he's just got it completely wrong, and a few have ended up reacting to that, and there's not really much room to do so. Luca into the side of, I believe it might have been an Alfa Romeo or a Red Bull. His front line's damaged. I think he might have been the only one to get damaged, but we'll see how they all go towards the pit lane. But yeah, turn 1, most dramatic place to make overtakes, most important place to make overtakes. Clearly, catching a few people out already. Side by side, by the way, Petrus and Lars all the way through what will be turn 7. Risky place to do that at the most of the times, but it's become an overtaking spot here.
Yes, it has. I think that's where most people can do overtakes. As well as we saw a racing point out, and that's Gil, who's out the session already before the end of lap 2. And
safety car.
Oh, that's to be expected.
Who's going to pit? Lama Queen is in the pit, so that is the driver potentially that was hit by Luca. Wrong side of the front wing damage, mind you, to be the one that Luca hit. Maybe that was just in the aftermath, because there was some cars getting all messy after Luca dived in there. 3 or 4, actually, we've got 6 into the pitch, jeez. So this could be some strategy, some damage. Doesn't look like Benny's damage. He nearly binned it where Gil binned it there. He did that on lap 1, Benny. Had a really good save, but he's into the pits for some new sauce. Luca and La McQueen under the hards. And then we've got Antoine, Toxic Tomato on mediums with Greeny LSC at the back on the softs. And they will catch up to that train. Shouldn't take too long. The safety car shouldn't be very long either. Because obviously they're very short laps around here. I imagine it'll probably be in by the end of lap 4 or lap 5 at the latest. But that just gives them a little bit of time to calm down on that. M Short, the highest by the way, on the mediums now. He got ahead of Suku.
Yes, he's doing very well so far, up in 9th place. He's gained 3 positions. Joey's gained 2. We got Lars that's gained 3. We got Petrox that's gained 1. Cedric and Banner gained 2. Well, Valley's had a good start from last on the grid to 19th due to Toxic being in last, up 6 places. Antoine's gained 2. Toxic's gained 4, but the biggest loser had to be Gil with that being into the middle of turn 7 and 8 there. And also Greeny as well had a bad start as well, but KJ Elting seems to be the one that's controlling the pace today. He was looking good at the part of last season, and he's looking to start his season where he ended off last season, but he hasn't got a win yet. Maybe this season could be the season where he actually gets a lot of wins. Same with Jon Power as well. I was expecting him to be up there as well. The first lap after the safety car is going to be interesting. We know lap 1 was clean, lap 2 wasn't. Let's hope this lap, when the safety car comes in, it's clean as well. We'll just have to wait and see, of course. But I'm a bit intrigued why people went on the hards, because the memes can go to a thing around about lap 34-5 if they pitted on them, but I'm guessing they didn't have much soft left, so some of them had to go onto the hards. And Benny and Greeny on the softs. I wonder if they wanted to do a long stint at the end when everyone else pitted. Very, very strange, but we'll see if that strategy pays off come the end of the race.
Yeah, I'm sure those hard runners, I guess they're looking at trying to go to the end, but as we've said already, they'll be so slow compared to everybody else's tires. But we'll see what they do, and we'll see what those guys in the softs do as well. But most importantly, we're going to see what Elting does to try and deal with this restart as the safety car heads around those last 2 corners. We'll then box, and we'll be back underway again for the start of lap 5. Remember, no DRS until the start of lap 7. As long as we don't get any more safety cars before then. Safety car is in, so it's all up to Elting now to put his foot down, which he's done. He's onto the overtake, and you know what? That's absolutely caught out with Jumpar. And surely Joey's going to have a great opportunity to try and get by into turn 1. But Jumpar will get a bit of a toe off Elting. Let's see what Joey crowded out in towards turn 4 on lap 1. He'll know what sort of driving Jumpar will do on this opening lap, and I don't think he's able to find much of a way to get through it in a minute. M Short and Suko, whose highest running medium runners, are going for it. Suko on the outside of turn 4, not quite able to find a way through.
Yeah, taking it cautious like they did on lap 1. It is a safety car that they had to deal with, and they didn't want to get involved in incidents, and seems like they're doing well to do it. But I think we're going to see some more battles probably the next lap, or maybe when the DRS is activated. We don't think we've had a DRS affected lap at all, so this lap 7 is going to be the lap where we're probably going to see ones going for risky moves and potentially ones going into, I would say, turn 5 and 6 as the DRS zones, and obviously the start-finish straight. I think we'll see some more moves as well. Yeah, Hannah looking very good in 5th place with Lars in 6th position. We're seeing if anyone's shaping up for a move. We've got Toxic on the back of Antoine, and we've got Makina, who's dropped back to 18th place. We've got Cedric, who's dropped down to 11th, but he's going to try and cut back heading in towards turn 1. Couldn't quite do it, and he's hit the front wing of World Rally. I think he's lost the front wing in the process too. I don't think that was much damage though.
That's enough to pit though, isn't it? I think he's lost the whole end fence there, and he didn't see the AlphaTauri on the inside. Don't know how late the braking was. I think we were on board with Cedric as it happened. But in World Rally, how's his front line? His front line's fine, so he's got away with it. But well, he's got a little bit of paint off of the AlphaTauri logo. But apart from that, he's all right. Cedric though, you can see him understeering. He's all over the road. He's gonna have to pit, and I imagine he might well be someone else that's gonna go for those hards in a minute. And what a shame that is for him, because you know, a pit stop here when you've already had such a dreadful lap and a front line change. Let's see if he gets lapped. Genuine concern that will be now.
Yeah, and the pit stop as well, 21 seconds, 21 seconds is the pit lane loss around it. If you pit, I would say, twice in the first 7 laps, yeah, you're definitely almost certain going to be lapped very, very soon, because you're going in half a lap, and then you're probably in turn 1, whilst everyone else is on the middle of their lap. So that is costly around these short tracks, especially around Bahrain Short. I think Britain Short being one of them as well. USA Short, though, there's something you can get away with, but luckily we're not going to that. I don't like that track. But anyway, Cedric goes out of the pits now, and he's on the hard tyres, and he's already 20 seconds down on P18. That's how much it's costed him right now. So let's hope that let's hope he has a much better rest of this race and forgets what just happened, basically.
Yeah, luckily he's a long way away from being lapped. So that's good news for him anyway. It's just obviously later on in the race it might still be a problem. He is in no man's land now, sadly, so he might well be looking for a safety car. Jumpar and the rest of them, no, they're going to be looking for some DRS. And Greeny RFC on this soft is trying to carve his way through these medium runners as well. But like I say, DRS is now the name of the game. And you can see Greeny again going for moves on World Rally. So we'll catch up with him later on, see how he's getting on. But at the front, obviously it'll be KJ Eltig, who's going to be under all that pressure now, because he has not been able to make a second as Greeny does get past World Rally. Toxic Tomato and Benny as well fights away. They're doing plenty in the midfield. Wonder how long it's going to take them at the front as Anfan's off nearly into the gravel, but he's almost turned that into an overtaking move. That's impressive stuff around turn 4. Didn't quite make it stick, but he's exploring those track limits.
Yes, and I wonder we're going to get people exceeding that without realising, because they're going to be getting penalised for that. So let's hope that we don't get caught many people doing that right now. But yeah, Young Power's found, I think, 2 tenths on Elting this lap, so I think he's going even quicker right now. Joey as well around about the same. Elting's going to be at a disadvantage. He's got no DRS, whereas everyone else around him has got DRS. We've got Greeny LSC looking for another move once again. This time on Ballina. Greeny is making his way up the field massively on those soft tyres. He's on fire, but the worry is he pushing too much too soon? But he set the fastest lap, so he must be doing something right for now.
Oh,
Joey,
Joey's
though,
off.
Oh,
He's gone way too deep by the looks of it into turn 1. Ascon's got through, and Hadler's teammate might be a little bit more conservative with it. They don't want to take each other out in the first race, these Williams boys, but that will put Hadler under pressure from Lars as well. So that one mistake from Joey could well have quite the effect on him and his own teammate. But yeah, Joey outside of the podium positions, and both of them now, Ascon and Joey, are the DRS to the front two, and that's going to be very pleasing for Jon Part. I might well give him just a little bit of leeway to go for a move. If it doesn't pay off, they should stay 1-2.
yeah, they should be fine at the moment.
Look at Greeny, he's not at the P10. He really is making such amazing progress on these softs, and he might well be able to get M short as well. And that is very impressive to get through the grid so quickly. Benny as well trying to do the same thing, showing just how much of a grid advantage these soft tyres do have. Wonder how many people will be looking at this and thinking about their last stints, perhaps. But here comes Greeny. Because all these medium runners, they'll be looking at this thinking, okay, I've got all this grip at the end of the race. This isn't too bad. I'll let this happen because I know I'm going to have a major advantage at the end. Greeny, not tonight.
I think we're going to see the medium runners just shot their way up the field towards the end. As that was a bit of a move from Lars as he makes his way up to P7. That was very, very bold there, but he made it work. And Petrots there was caught napping, I think, as well. He was definitely not expecting that.
I think he went for the move first, Patrice. He's went up the inside of turn 4. He's gone too wide and Lars has just cut back across him. So they are trying that turn 4 move, but as we say, it doesn't seem as effective as it would for the normal turn 4 on this track. But at least they're giving it a go. Nice to see. And Ascon is back into the DRS of Jon Par, but look how close he is to the race leader. There's a bit of a squirrely rear end out of the final corner. I wonder if Jon Par might fancy taking his opportunity yet, or if he's just going to have to wait it out, because if he would use his ERS, he'd probably close right up and overtake him, but he seems happy enough to sit in the slipstream of the racing point, the race leader.
Yeah, he's not finding the moves right now as well. I think the dirty air is definitely not helping him as well, and that's definitely allowing Ascom and Joey to catch up to this train once again, even though Joey's made that little bit of mistake, and that's how much not making moves can do to you as well. And I'll see if anyone else makes a move into turn 4. I wonder if more people around, I would say Fabian Greeny, could try for the move heading into turn 4 as soon as they saw the likes of the Red Bull and the Haas doing it. I won't be surprised if that happens, because again, not many overtaking opportunities due to the fact there's a short track, but they are proving us wrong that you can overtake that. But we will see, of course, as Jon Powers lost about a tenth on this sector to Elting as well. So it looks like Elting is pushing on this lap, and this could benefit him as the race goes on, but we shall see. He's doing what he needs to do as well with no DRS, so it must be really hard sitting at the front with no DRS when everyone else is catching you right behind as well. And we shall see what happens. Benny's making his way up through the field as well. He's going side by side with the Red Bull Suku heading into turn 1, and it reminds me of we can see Benny going for a move on M short as well. He's going for a double overtake pretty much. Benny take a bow there. The number 69 car gets the move done, and we can see Suku is struggling, and M short's going to get him as well. Yes, he does, and that's a shame for Suku there, but I think he must be struggling on those mediums. I'm guessing the softs are our softest tyre anyway, but I'm sure Suku could get them at the end of the race, so he doesn't mind that too much, like with M short.
Well, what happened there was that Benny passed Suku in the main straight and then put the dive bomb of all dive bombs on M short. There was quite big contact, but there's no damage there. But still, Benny, I mean, I think he'll get away with it. I'm sure M short maybe just didn't quite see him, but yeah, that was a double overtake in the end for Benny, and that's why Suku's all over the back at M short. Perhaps going to look for a move. Maybe a bit inspired by that dive bomb he's just seen put ahead of him as Jon Par gets right to the back of Elton again, but again, happy just to sit behind and let it all stew there, but it's all building to be quite a fun fight. I'd hate to be, though, one of these Williams drivers, because I'm sure Hadler, probably the one who's realising right now that he, when the pit stops come around, is going to have to be patient and do one extra lap. I don't know how he's going to feel about that yet, but we'll see how that all works out. Because the rest of the constructors actually only really have one driver in the top 10. It's a rather odd situation, this one, but yeah, at the minute, only really Williams that are going to have to worry about that.
Yeah, the last time Williams actually won the Constructors, I believe it was season 26 in F2 as well. So they're looking to get it again this season. They didn't get it last season. Renault got it last season as well. Greeny is in that Renault car. He's looking to get the Constructors again. The last time the winning Constructor Greeny was in, he won it the following season. So, you know, that's probably why he's probably picked the Renault this season. But looks like the Williams are the ones that are probably taking advantage so far. Looks like Yumpao was going to go for the move there into turn 1. KJ just closed the door there, and he's like, oh, you're not getting that move done sooner or later as well. Is Yumpao going to be risking go for the move to turn 4? Nope, he's not that close enough, unfortunately.
I just don't think they see a point in fighting yet. This happened so much in the F1 tier last season. It never happened too much here, but we were just sitting there watching race after race after race after race just be a massive train until the second half. They want to get to the first pit stop, if not the only pit stop, and just be done with it. Then they can race. Because the biggest issue is ERS. It's always been the big issue. Because if you have this ERS, you want to make your overtake, you really only have realistically got one opportunity, and then your ERS is gone. And so it's either wait it all out and go for it later on, or, you know, if you have to go for it, you have to go for it. But honestly, it's a weird way of doing it, but these guys, trust me, they don't seem to want to overtake, and it's just because of their ERS and their pit stops and all that. They're having just to be very patient. Frustrating to watch. You beg for them to go for the overtake. You think, Yumpao, why aren't you going for it? It's not worth it. They don't think it's worth it. Clearly. Also, if they do it, because look at that. That train of 9 people are practically pushing each other through the first few corners. Look at the Williams boys. They literally are pushing each other. No one wants to make any overtakes. It's bizarre. Yumpao, look how close he's getting. He's within a tenth of a second. And he just doesn't want to do it.
I think he doesn't want to take too many risks at this point, because it's not going to be that long before people are pitted as well. We're starting to get a few penalties on the board. Makina getting 3 seconds, as well as Toxic Tomato too. No one else getting time penalties off the board as of yet as well. But we can see the DRS train. Nine people are in it at this moment in time. So that's probably why they're not getting the moves either as well. And yeah, that's probably why we haven't been seeing some overtakes either. But this is the closest Yumpao has been all race, but he's dropped a little bit once again. Can this DRS help him? Is he going to use the overtake? We're seeing people thinking about pitting very soon.
Not.
Yeah, this is going to be the move that he's looking for. Is he going to go for the move into turn 1? Nope, he's not. Oh, come on.
He backed it off. Joey! Oh, contact with Ascon though. I wonder if there's any front wing damage there. I think that was the move that was trying to happen. Patrice as well and Fabi going for it. The train's getting too close now. They're starting to get impatient. Some of them are making contact and trying to go for the moves, and they're not actually getting them done. And Joey, I don't think he's going to have another chance of getting that move done. No damage on his Williams. And look at Patrice on the inside of Fabi. He's not able to get his move done either. So even when they're trying to go for it, they're not quite making it stick. I do wonder if they're worried about the alternate strategy drivers as well. M Short down to Antoine. Because obviously they'll be on these softs at the end. I do wonder, they're thinking, let's just work together here, all pull away together, make sure we don't end up caught out by these guys. I do think, though, some of them are starting to get a bit too impatient. And can you blame them? Look how close it is out there. Joey's going to be under all sorts of pressure from his own teammate, who is using the overtake there just to keep up. But Joey closing up again. Yumpao, is he going to go for the move this time? I don't think so. Ascon's moved all the way over, and it's given a great opportunity for Joey to try and go right outside of him, and have a look as well on Yumpao. Nearly contact as they head through turn 2 and 3, but there's no way through once again. Oh, they just can't do it. Joey, though, has made one position up. Mainly because Ascon just did not. He moved way too over. I don't know what was going on there. Is Joey going to try and make a move on Yumpao? No. But yeah, Ascon, he moved all the way over to where the pit exit is, down towards turn 1. And it just let Joey outbreak it. He was more focused on Yumpao by the end of that straight. Bizarre stuff there from the Mercedes, but oh well, one position lost, not the end of the world, but he's not going to be too happy about it.
No, it looked like Joey was a lot faster that lap as well. He was very keen to get the move done as well, and it looked like he almost had the move on Yumpao that lap too as well. So let's see what Joey can do. And I wonder if the Mercedes will probably go for the move if Joey goes for the move later on as well, because the Mercedes is probably kicking himself right now as well.
There
he can't
we go,
do it.
Finally.
There, we've got Yumpao actually gets the lead into turn 1 with the DRS. KJ's coming back. We've got Joey as well. Hadler and Lars are going for it. They are actually starting to go for moves heading in towards turn 1 now.
That's really bad stuff that they held on to each other for way too long. Lars and Hadler were just locked wheels. No one wanted to back out of it, and it led to the spin through 2. and the collisions through 3. How many got damaged in that one? Certainly Fabi was turned around, and I don't think it was any damage though. He was just hit on the rear. Who else got damaged? Either way, Greeny up to 5th thanks to that. Really worked out. But did you see? Eltink and Joey. Joey wanted to try and get by Eltink, and it nearly led Eltink to dive bomb Jan Parga, and that was really the top 3 having the incident that the guys behind had. But that's what the train has caused now, and it's going to really help those alternate strategy drivers who are just happily moving through, knowing they're going to be on the much quicker tire later on. They're going to have a really good time, I think, later. Oh, Suko! Well, not if you do that, no. What a save that was. He's had to go off to Narni. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
He nearly clattered into the back of M-Short and nearly went right over him. But he's had to go off. He made a few positions. Well, he lost a few positions, I should say. Petrus then into the pits. Hadler, don't think he got any damage. I believe it was only Petrus who got damage. What a hectic lap!
Yeah, it seems it's like a chain reaction right now as well. As we've got Banner and Suka going for a move in turn 4. He said you can't make a move for there as well. It's almost going to be free wide with Antoine as well. Banner's trying his best to hold on. And Makina as well going for the move as well. This could be free wide and they're not careful. Banner and Suka going side by side, heading towards past turn 6 into 7. We've got Antoine and Makina still going side by side. They're not giving up here at the moment. This is where they're starting to go for moves before the pit stop, some of these guys. Makina's doing very well on those hard tyres. The tyre is not the tyre to be on this track, on the short version of the track, but he's proving us wrong definitely here, heading towards the final corner of turn 10, but he does not make the move stick right now. We're watching at the front once again. Can Joey get the move past KJ? Nope, he can't. No one's quite close enough at the front for now. It looks like Jan Power is holding on, but at least KJ is not dropping back from Jan Power. At least they're still able to get a battle on. Jan Power didn't get a good exit in turn 4 though, so it looks like KJ could catch up a little bit, but we will see. And the Mercedes is still in that train as well. Greeny though is out of that DRS train. That could help the guys behind him as well, but we'll see.
Well, the patient game certainly didn't last very long, did it?
No.
It absolutely exploded into life. And like I say, it's just broken up that leading train just a bit. A few of them had to pit as well. Petrus is on the hards now, so he's going to be going to the end on those, you'd imagine. But like I say, M short now to P8. He's now going to have to deal with Fabi, who, like I say, was turned around by the incident with Hadler and Petrus earlier. And I believe, who was it as well that was involved in that? Was it Lars who was in there? And he got away with it. He did get away with it a bit. So I wonder what sort of investigations the stewards will be looking into later on with that one. But yeah, he got lucky. And let's say Fabi, lucky with no damage. He's now behind the medium runner, who finds himself M short. How far off the lead? He's only 6.8 off. So right now, the strategy's working out pretty nicely for him. And like I say, he'll be pretty pleased. He's already got by a few of those soft runners. And he is going to carry quite the train now. Look at that. It's almost as big as the leading train was before it got broken up. And we know how that ended, so let's see if they're a bit more clean with it.
Yes, indeed. M Short, I think, impressing me so far after climbing so many positions and managing to keep out of trouble for most of this race so far. And if he could be fast on those softs towards the end, then my oh my, he's going to be in contender for the win. Imagine that. The champion from F3 last season would go on to win the race in F2 this season. I think he ran 9 last season as well. That's why he wasn't allowed to move up, stay in F2 last season. But he's showing why he deserved to be in F2. Pit stop.
Joey's in the pits. That is a big call, that. Of course, he's now thinking he's happy enough that his teammate, in a way, is out of the way, so they don't have to worry about stacking each other or compromising each other, the Williams boys. But no, Joey, he's just going for a pure undercut here on the top 2, and I'll be feeling a bit under pressure now. It is a very short lap, so the undercut might not be as useful, as Antoine has just lost a position into turn 1, I think, on Suku. Don't know exactly what was going on there, but they're making contact into 4. Not sure what happened there, but either way, he's in 12th place. And yeah, let's see, where did Joey come out? He's 10 seconds behind Hadler, and he's in plenty of free air, so he's happy enough in there. We'll see, as Fabi has got ahead of M Short, by the looks of it. We'll see what these top 3 do. Surely they're all going to be into the pits. That whole train's going to be looking at pitting now, so they don't all get jumped. Here comes Jan Parr then. Into the pits he goes. So does oh, look at that. A few of them aren't pitting though. Greeny. Obviously, Greeny had made a pit stop later on, as had Benny. So those two make sense to stay out. Fabi's also stayed out though. But let's see Joey then. Let's see. How is Joey looking? He's done a purple middle sector in this race, Jess.
Yep, he's looking good. He could get the undercut right as everyone comes out of the pits. Let's watch Young Power first as he heads towards the end of it. I think Joey's going to be way clear at this stage as he heads towards turn 1. He's purple in the final sector. Let's see. Oh, it's going to be close between Young Power, but he just pips him. Joey is your net race leader.
Good strategy that there from Joey then, making the 1 lap undercut. Purple middle sector and final sector on that I lap has put him into the lead of this race. Well, the net lead, of course. You never know what happens with safety cars, etc. And we don't know really what Luca and McQueen are going to do, because they could try and go to the end. You never know, because they've got how long they got? They've got a good nearly 11.5 second gap. And theoretically, these mediums could possibly get to the end of the race. So maybe we shouldn't be counting these two out too early, because they've shown all right pace so far. I just don't know how they're going to handle it at the end, but if they can keep this going and stay out for the whole race, maybe, just maybe, these two could be back in this fight for the lead as well.
Yeah, I don't even know who's going to win this race. That's how close it is. That's what we want a season opener to be. As Fabi goes into the pits now, and he's already, I think, going to drop behind quite a few drivers. So maybe that pit stop did not work for him right now. But yeah, Greeny and Benny will probably have to pit a bit later on due to the fact that they did get caught up in a damage, or maybe they did pit in the safety car. I think, was it Benny that pitted strategically? Because he didn't get any damage, did he?
He pitted strategically. I think Greeny had to change his wing. I think they could have both been strategic. There were 6 in the pits, and there certainly wasn't 6 damaged. So, yeah, I don't know exactly what the situation is with those two, but I do wonder when they are going to pit, because they can't be out there for too much longer. In fact, it looks like Benny fancies leading this race for a little bit, as he pulls alongside and pretty simple overtake. As Lama Queen gets, I think that might be his 2nd penalty of the day. Luca clean on penalties on his hards. Penalties will be crucial today, particularly towards the end. And look at that, Luca wide at turn 1. These hard runners have just got to stop fighting. Don't fight it too hard. They've got the end of the race to think about if they are able to stay out. But yeah, Lama Queen, he's got the penalty, but he got the overtake as well. His World Rally is going past on M Short, so that makes him the highest running medium runner with his broken front wing.
Wow.
But can he get through M Short? Not quite. Obviously, World Rally, he's had that front wing damage for ages, hasn't he? Because he was into the side of Benny, I think it was, at turn 1.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, or it might have been Cedric. It was a Ferrari.
No, it was Cedric, not Benny.
Yeah, it was a Ferrari, definitely, who World Rally was into the side of. With that front wing damage, the trains helped him out there, but I'd still expect him to change it in the pit stop at some point, but we'll see. Maybe he's happy enough to go on, although I'm sure is now passing him back in towards turn 1, so it didn't last too long. But here comes Balmer as well. He wants to get that position too, and he's down towards turn 1, and he's into the back of M Short, but he is ahead of World Rally. And now Antoine's trying to go round and get World Rally as well. And there's 3 wide into turn 4 as round goes World Rally. And well, talk about a reversal of fortune. That is an absolute disaster for him. He was right up at the head of the train, and now he's right at the back of it.
Yeah, 3 wide there does not mix. Does not mix at all. So I'm not surprised World Rally got damaged there. He was in for the lead of the race near the lead of the race on the alternate strategy runners, but now he's a net last place in the alternate strategy runners. So not good for him at all, but good for the likes of M Short, who has got a gap to Banner. But I know Banner's going to challenge for the alternate strategy lead very, very soon, as they're going to be pitting in about, I'm trying to think when they would pit. Lap 33 is the pit stop prediction. So a few more laps to go yet, but there's still a lot of chance for people to win this race so far. And we don't forget Benny and Greeny still have to pit as well, so they'll be dropping a bit out of the order as well. Royal Rally goes into the pits. I'm not surprised, really, to be honest, Darren.
Yeah, it's going to happen. He might as well change the front when Molly's in there as well. What's he going to go on to? He's not confident enough to go for any softs yet, so it is mediums. A real disaster that meant for him. The spin, as Balner now, on the second DRS zone, goes up into 3rd place and the head of the alternate strategy race. Antoine's tyres, remember, are a little bit younger, because he pitted under the safety car as well, and so he might well have a chance just to get up there and lead that train as well, although he will have to worry about the undercut, so maybe the younger tyres won't be as big of an advantage as it could be. But back with the main train, who are still expecting to be well clear at the front after those mediums pit, they'll be the ones chasing, remember. Joey still heads it from Youngpar and KJ Elting, and that's coming 4th place. So that's a 4-car train now. Lars has really sort of fallen off the back of that. And Lana Queen wants to try and get involved here in turn 1. He's going to get by Suko. Nearly contact there, and there is indeed contact. He's going to go up the inside though anyway, locking up his inside front. Can he get on the exit? He will. So Lama Quinn has been able to get through there on Suko. He was going wide, Suko, in turn 1. I don't know if he was trying to fight Antoine or something, but Lama Quinn up into P6. The fighting is fantastic out here. I must say, we had some fantastic fights so far.
Yeah, I think there was a few instances, but majority of the fights have been very, very entertaining, and a lot of people taking risks into turn 4 now. So I think they've seen a lot of people do it earlier on, and they're like, you know what, I could do it too. So great stuff from these drivers as well. And most of these battles at the moment are happening to the alternate strategy runners. I think the ones that just pitted will have to wait a little bit. I think they're playing the long game, and they're probably going to push towards the end when they see the alternate strategy runners on the softs, and that's where they're going to really start to go for it. But I think KJ could have the move on Yumpa. He's close enough. He's got the DRS, but he's not using his overtake. Nope, he's not going to get the move done. I think a lot of people are going to be closing up to that train as well. Lars maybe... No, Lars is not in that train anymore, so Lars is running his own battle, but we've got a 3-way fight for the net lead of this race. It could still go to anyone. And I'm a bit worried about Benny and Greeny right now. They're taking the absolute gamble right now, pushing these tyres on. They're one more lap, and their tyres are going to be on fire. They're going to be on 70% at the moment in 1 lap's time. But I think they did grab a safety car. So I would say around about lap 29, I would say. And then they'll probably have to go in. Otherwise, their tyres will be just dead right now. Saying that, one of them will probably pit now, which they don't. But there we go.
Yeah, they've made it to lap 30 then in the race. It's, you know, certainly mediums could get them well easy to the end. And look at that. Balmer having to really move it over to the other side of the track. He's being a proper snaking train. Luca wasn't very interested in following all that. He's just, I think he's quite happy, Luca, to sit at the end of this train, because I think he's probably maybe thinking about his Joey behind the 7 seconds he's got to him. Because that might be the fight. We're going to end up potentially with a medium versus soft versus hard fight, you know, near the front of the grid at the end of this race. Really fascinating one. Do not leave us for F1. Ignore them. We don't like them anymore. Stay with us. We've got a great race on. You can catch whatever happens over there later on. You're only watching a qualifying session anyway. Who wants that? So we've got this. Do not leave this, because it's going to get very good.
Yeah, do not leave us at all as well, because we've still got a great fight, and we've got Alfa Romeo possibly going to try and get a move later on as well. It's pretty much people going for risks later on in this race, but for some people, they're just playing it patient. I think the ones that are going for risks now are for the ones that still yet to make their pit stop, the likes of Banner, the likes of M-Shot, Luca as well, who's potentially going to go for the move on those halves. That was almost a risk that did not pay off for Suku there, who closed the door right there into turn 1 as well. M-Shot goes wide! M-Shot goes wide, and he spins it by himself. And
well, there was contact with Antoine, perhaps. They were side by side through turn 1. I don't know they actually hit that hard, but either way, M-Short is now being overtaken by Joey, so that's how much time he's lost. Yompar getting in there as well. And I wonder if Eltink will try and take advantage on Yompar. Here he goes. That incident for the medium runners at the front is now going to affect us for the net race leaders. Look at Eltink. Right on the outside. He's decided he's going to back it off. But there was definitely a bit of contact in there as Toxic Tomato retires in the pit lane.
Haven't seen much of him this race. It didn't look like he was having a good race. So, again, not surprised there. Not a good way to start his F2 campaign for this season. But there's still 9 more races to go.
Antoine and Lamaquina and Narnia. I think there was contact there too. Balmer's into the pits. Lamaquina is into the pits. What on earth is going on in this race? All the high-running medium guys are messing their chances up of taking advantage at the end of this race. Only really Suko's left. Just keep it clean, man.
Suku could win this race if he plays his cards right.
Look at turn 1, there's utter chaos. Toxic Tomato's ghost car's got right in the way of Joey, the race leader. Elting's in there as well. Ascode with his teammate, they were getting all messy as well. What on earth is happening in this race? It's absolutely exploded into utter carnage.
I think, and we see McLaren go off, and that where was that?
That would be Toxic Tomatoes ghost car. That's sort of what got in the way of all those leaders.
Ah, yeah, that would definitely catch me out if I was racing. But yeah, it seems like one thing went on in the midfield with M-Shot spinning off, and that triggered everyone else to be like, right, I've got to go for moves now, and that's probably what hindered some people's races so far. But M-Shot's still back in this. It's not over for him, but he's going to drop a mile back from everyone else now, as the soft runners have been on those softs for lap. They're going in into the pits. They started on the mediums. KJ then, he's going to go for the move on Yonpao, then this is for the net lead.
Oh, it's so late on the brakes, though. Don't forget Joey. Joey's still ahead of both of them, but this is going to affect them a lot. And you know what? Joey now stuck behind Antoine. He was obviously in that incident earlier on. I wonder if he's got any damage, because that could mean Elting, he's now running that second, could go for the lead. I don't see any damage though on Antoine. It's just old tires. That's all that his worry is. But Joey hasn't been able to get past him, and so it's a very slow, very slow Renault compared to these guys that have lead to trade. So can Elting try and take advantage of this and get back to the lead of the race? Of course, he was leading earlier. He was the pole man.
Yes, and he's not the pole one at the moment, but he could go the move on. The likes of so we got a Renault who's trying to. To be honest, the Renault does need to move out the way because he's on a different strategy. He will need to pit soon, which he does. So
that leaves Luca. That leaves Luca, who we think, or at least I think anyway, I don't know if you agree, he is the legitimate leader of this race. I don't think he's pitting again. So they're all going to have to navigate past him in a genuine race situation. Why would he pit now? He would put mediums on if he wanted to pit again, but he's on the hards. Surely this is to the end of the race.
No.
Yeah, at least, nah?
Last 40 laps, these hards. It doesn't make it to the end.
Ah, that's a shame, isn't it?
I know.
Well,
playing the game.
Damn! That's why no one wants to go on then. Well, either way, we'll see what he can do with them, because either way he leaves the race, any safety cars he'll pit then. But it'll be for softs he'll pit for, I'd assume. But Benny then is now the lead runner on softs. He's now going to be trying to catch up to Lars. Only 4.7, so still worth watching him, obviously. We'll see how far he and Greeny can get in this race. Got a long way to go. Are you sure the hards can't go more than 40 laps? Surely the softs, they went nearly 30 laps, and we're saying the hards can't do, the rest of the race.
I was looking at the game earlier, and that's the lifespan, but
we can never trust the game.
It may be. It was on default setup, and these might be on different setups, and they can go longer. I don't know, but they can probably do something which we don't believe. As Greeny gets past Benny for P8 right now. If they play their cards right between Greeny and Benny right now, they could possibly still get a podium out of all this, because Greeny's not that far behind Lars as well. Benny's going to have a little bit of an issue. Banner's on the softs too as he cuts turn 4. That's not how you cut turn 4. You can't even cut turn 4 at all. So Banner might be in trouble with the stewards later on, but we'll see, of course, what happens at the end. As I think Luca could go on softs, but I think it could go 40. I think 45 laps, maybe. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's 40 laps on about 60-70%, but these guys could get to 80% surely around this track, and then they may get a puncher, but we'll see.
Let's just watch it play out. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's ignore the data at the moment and just see if they make it to the end. And for Luca's sake, we hope it does. We hope it does.
Greeny, fastest lap of the race. He can see Lars and Fabi ahead. That's P6 on the road. If Luca does have to pit, then that's a net P5 back to where he was earlier, Greeny. And he is on. They've both gone for softs again, so that must mean they did start on the mediums. They did start on the mediums. So that maybe both of them then pitted for strategy reasons on that safety car. So neither of them had damage. We definitely knew Benny didn't, but that pretty much confirms to me that Greeny didn't either. So yeah, they will be flying along. And they know they can do plenty of laps on these tires. They're not going to have to do nearly as many as they did earlier, so they can really go full send on this. And we'll see if they can get in the mix for the race win. Maybe a bit of a long shot, but any penalties for the front runners, it could make it open to them. How far are they off the lead? They're 13 seconds off Luca, 9 seconds off Joey. So that's what they've got to close down. They're they're all on the same straight, but yeah, it doesn't really mean too much just yet. And then we've still got Lars and like a Fabi. This quartet, Joey, Elting, Jan Parasko, they're not wanting to fight too much at the minute.
I think
just
just
like
wait
earlier.
to the end. I think wait to the end. I think that's what some of these drivers are going to do. Wait until pretty much, I would say, lap 48 when they can go for moves, and then, but it may be too late when they see the likes of Greeny and Benny climbing their way through the field. That's going to be the important thing. I think Benny did the right thing pitting when he did in the safety car as well, because I've seen obviously the full track in PSG, I think it was season 26. I've seen someone that did the alternate strategy. He went on to win the race. So it is, I think, alternate strategy OP around here. So if Greeny wins this race, I will not be surprised. But it's going to be hard with the likes of Yumpa and KJ leading the train, as well as Joey too, which is the net lead of this race so far. But yeah, I think these guys have got to get a move on soon, because otherwise they're going to have lose a chance on getting a podium. Well done to people not getting penalties though, as Suku's the fastest man on track right now with a 1 minute 0.0 at the moment. Fastest lap does get a point if you're inside the top 10. He's not inside the top 10 yet, but he could be if he gets past Hadler and maybe Balliner, but Balliner's going to be a little bit trickier for him.
I bet you Greeny's pretty happy with himself that it's a man on hard tyres that leads this race as well. Because when that quartet arrive, it's not going to be a one and done, I don't think. I reckon they will get held up with Luca when they catch him. It'll be about 5 to 10 laps they'll do that. And as long as Greeny keeps the pace up, that holding up will put him into play. I really do think he's got a good chance of this one, you know. Let's see. Let's see if he keeps the pace up. And right now, he's closed the gap to the leader, which is Luca, by 2 seconds in the last few laps. I do think this will be quite close. We like this. We've got 3 different complex tyres. We just don't know which one's the best one to be on at the minute. We really don't. We really cannot tell you with any confidence who's on the best tyre at the right time at the minute.
It's like in real life, we don't know who's going to win. Is it going to be Max? Is it going to be Hamilton? But for here, is it going to be Joey, KJ, or Young Power, or even Greeny as well? Meanwhile, Suku gets past Haller. He needed to do it now, and he did. Up into 11th place now. One more place, and then he'll get in to the points right now. But yeah, Greeny is definitely using his experience of running no line last season to his advantage here. He was near dead last in the championship last season. He had a mare of a season, hardly scoring any points, and he's potentially going to probably beat his points haul in one race this season, which is quite hard to believe, to be honest. But he's been in F2 for a long time. He was in F2 when you first started commentating as well. He's the F2 veteran as far as I'm concerned, and he's doing experience. I think is showing for Greeny right now.
Indeed. Greeny, who for some reason I always used to call Green Leafy. Don't ask why I used to call him that. I think I was doing too much of my home economics back then.
Yeah.
Before I dropped it. Dreadful subject, never do it. But anyway, race time. Don't have to get distracted on my disastrous life. But Greeny, speaking of him actually, yeah, look at this. He's in the nearly in the DRS of Lars and in turn Fabi. So this will be where we get the first big test for him, really. If he's serious about winning this race, which he could be, he's going to be able to get by these two quickly and efficiently. No damage, nothing, just get by them. And I wonder if this will sort of inspire Lars as well to maybe get a move on Fabi too, seeing the car behind. But they've both got a lot less ERS than Greeny. He really is driving a great race right now, the Renault driver. He is setting himself up. Let's see what he's going to do. Joey now within 2 seconds, by the way, of Luca. So that's going to start... Oh, Luca's in the pits. So you were right. He isn't going to go to the end. So where is he going to end up, though? Because he could be quite quick at the end, too. Lama Queen was in an incident, so I do wonder if he'll be around the truce area, possibly. Yeah. Let's see. Exit comes up quite late on here, so he's actually behind McQueen, but he should be pretty quick. So we'll see what he can do. But Greeny, here he is on the back of Lars. Will it be one and done on the Haas driver? The Haas is back going for Fabi. And no, do you know what? He used the DRS just to close up, just to make sure Greeny didn't get by. But he still wasn't interested in making the overtake, and Greeny on the exit with the much grippier tyres, trying to go around the outside of 7, which will turn to the inside of 8, which is defended quite well by Lars, but surely on the cutback, now Greeny will have the exit, and he's up into P6, here he goes, and he'll get some stitching off Fabi as well. Fabi practically helps his rival pass there, and I imagine he won't make it too hard for Greeny to get by on the main straight as well. Let's see what he does. A young Par as well on the back of Eltic, we'll keep an eye on him, but here comes Greeny for P5 in this race, not using his overtake or anything. He's been so smart here. He knows he'll just drive by, and he is driving straight by. Up into P5 goes Greeny in this race, and now with that top 4 also close, How quickly is he going to be able to catch up? And look at Benny as well. Benny's got through. We've got a Fabi off the track. Great. I don't know what Benny must have to do with that. He was going around the other side of everyone, I think. But Benny's gone and got through as well.
Yeah, the soft runners are absolutely on fire right now.
As you say, Fabi, the one getting spun around there. I don't know if that was his own mistake. Was he getting flustered by the cars around him? I'd be surprised. If anyone would be Benny or Lars hitting him, perhaps. Any damage on those two?
Doesn't look like it.
I don't really think there's been any contact.
I think he spun by himself. I think he lost it in turn 1.
Look at the front of the pack. L-Tank has got a full tank of ERS to use against Joey, who's got nothing. Surely we've got a move for the lead coming our way, and indeed we do. L-Tank is ahead of Joey in this race, but Yumpar's trying to get by both of them. Through the middle he goes, round us down to turn 1. He can. Contact ability we saw earlier on, and he's had to back off. Great racing as he backs off on Joey as well, who can't find a way through. L-Tank leads from Yumpar.
Not that long to go until the end of this race now. We're almost on the final third of this race, believe it or not, with the short track of this race. This has been a sensational race so far. The lead has been changed many times. It's now our pole sitter who is in the lead of this race, but it's far from over because Joey's not that far behind him as well. Greeny's going to be probably catching up this train in about 3 seconds time. If he can catch up in many seconds per lap, we'll see what Greeny's fastest lap is very, very soon. Yumpower doesn't want Joey to have any slipstream at all, which could hinder Jerry's race towards the end of it, but we'll have to wait and see. KJ, though, is looking like the favourite, but we'll see if any one of those drivers in this train could get moved on once again. I don't think Joey is. Nope, I think there's a little bit further behind right now. KJ is just using his advantage now. Joey almost got the move on Yumpower once again as Suku sets the fastest lap of the race so far. He's up into P9. Balliner gets past Lars up into P7, so this is more like it. The ones on the softs are going to be the ones to benefit in this situation. The gap now between Greeny and the Mercedes driver, 2.7 seconds. Could this be the time where Greeny wins this race, or will it be too little too late?
I think the most important thing to point out is that in this top 5, the man with the most ERS by a long way is the race leader. L-Tank has got 90% of that bar left. He knows he's not going to be overtaken unless Yumpower is within about 4/10 when he uses the DRS. So right now, he wouldn't really be close enough because he's got enough ERS to defend from it. So he'll also know if Greeny gets involved in this fight, he will see that Greeny's catching on the sauce, so he's going to be aware it's happening. I think L-Tank's going to be able to control this one from the front. But 13 laps, a lot can change in 13 laps. You've seen what can change in 1 lap multiple times in this race. And we've seen how aggressive Yumpower can be, trying to get through the middle of those two as they fought for the lead. So we know there's a lot of aggression out there, and we know we've got a very, very fast driver on much newer, faster tyres catching up on it all. So really, we've also got Benny. Don't forget Benny's in there. He's right in the DRS with Greeny as well, so he'll be just following. If I were him, I'd be saving his ERS up now in the DRS so that I can have something to fight with later on. But yeah, it's just the tension of it now. What's going to happen? We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know who's going to win. We don't know who's going to get the podium. We don't even know which tyres is going to be the best strategy right now. So I think it's the war between the softs and the mediums. Is it going to be the ultimate strategy that wins this one? Or is it going to be the one that's been on the mediums for pretty much the second half of this race onwards? For the likes of KJ and Yumpower, Joey could still win this race, believe it or not, as Joey just can't get the move past at the moment. What's the gap between Greeny and Mercedes now? 1.9 seconds. He's finding a second per lap now. This is game on for Greeny. Benny, those 7/10 right now, and I think Benny's just using Greeny to try and catch up to these lot as well. But we're almost, pretty much 12 laps to go of this race. Like we said, anything can happen too. I think we're going to see the battle for the win go on until the final lap, like we saw yesterday between Max and Lewis. Oh my god, this is going to be probably the most exciting race I've ever commentated on in a long time.
If I'm Yumpower, Joey and Ascon in this situation, I'm not using any of my ERS up. You've got to have a full tank ready for when this onslaught arrives. And for all the mess that it's going to cause, because as soon as Greeny gets involved, everyone's going to get a bit jumpy. And I think Yumpower is going to make sure he has enough to defend and attack at the same time. Yumpower is still very much focused on winning this race. And you can see the ERS gap, it's closing. And Yumpower, with every lap, is getting a better and better chance of winning this race. Because crucially, as we've said this whole time, if you're in the train, it means you have DRS. The leader, as much as he can save his DRS, doesn't get that DRS. And there's no one to lap No one anywhere. So he is gonna have to do this all himself, I think. I just hope he's got enough at the end of this race. I really can't call it. Greeny, 1.3 seconds behind Ascon. He'll be in DRS before you know it.
I wonder if Greeny's going to slingshot past these lot, or is he going to work for it? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know how Elting right now is on 82% ERS. I think he just knows that he's not going to be challenged anytime soon. I think just wait until the lights of Greeny get back at him. That is when his ERS is going to be used. Or maybe he's just waiting until the final few laps where he can absolutely belt it right now as well. Greeny's not quite under DRS of Ascom yet, so he's not going to get the edge at the moment. 1.2 seconds in the detection zone. He's already passed that, so he's not going to get him in DRS now. I think he's going to wait until the next lap to do. He's 6 tenths down on his previous best, but he's gaining all the time. Let's hope his tyres don't overheat though, because that's where the race could be lost for him. He's got the most to lose in this situation right now. Ascom on the back of Joey once again. I think it's a battle between the top 6 on who's going to win this race as well. Ballina unfortunately can't get to this train right now, and the battle for the midfield is tend to quieten down a little bit as well. But we could see a battle for the final point of this race, but I don't think Handler is quick enough to catch up to Fabi. So I think that we got I think our points people confirmed for this race. Just a question of where they'll be.
Really now, within a second of Ascom. He's had to use some ERS to get there though, I think Ascom and Greeny have quite low ERS, and you can see that's reflected in the purple middle section for Greeny. He's really had to do that to catch up, but now he's in the DRS, he can save that ERS again. It's just one extra element. The top 6 all in each other's DRS. When are we going to see them start going for moves? There's no way Young Power will sit there and not try anything, and that, that could be what sets this whole pack off. I don't think they're all going to sit there. No one watching. Nobody think they're all just going to sit there in formation. Someone's going to go for it. We've seen it happen twice already in this race, where a train has just been broken up by people getting a bit too impatient or a bit too close to the car behind, where they're forced to go for something. It will kick off eventually.
Yeah, all it takes is just one person to do it, and then boom, everyone else tends to do it as well. So who's going to blink first? That's my question. If I was Greeny, I would be the first person to blink in this situation. You have the most to gain. You're on the sauce. If you don't get past now, his tyres are going to overheat like crazy, and he's got the most to lose at the moment. So he's got to take a lot of risk right now as well. None of the drivers around him got penalties, so this is it for the Renault driver who's had bad luck last season and is looking to beat his points haul in one race from last season. He's doing very, very well, and he's looking to try and get past these leading bunch at the moment. He's forgot to get the move already. What's gone on?
I'm seeing Cedric been in the pit lane, so that might be traffic if he's not that quick, but he should be on the sauce. He should pull away. But if they get in the leader's way, it could get a bit messy, but I think Cedric should pull away as Antoine gets past Luca. But yeah, no moves happening just yet in this train. It's just, it's a patient waiting game. These laps will go down very quickly. If anything, the first person to make a move might actually be Young Power. And if he wants to make a move, as long as Joey doesn't go for anything behind him, he'll want to do it on lap 57. So it really will end up being a last lap thing if we see anyone to the lead. It's really dependent on Greeny. Greeny has used too much ERS, I fear. But we'll see. Let's see what his exit's like into the final corners.
Whoa, it's looking alright. It's good. And he's going to get a run as well, heading into turn 1. But he's running out of ERS though, whereas Ascom has got hardly any ERS. So this could be advantage Greeny heading into turn 1. But no, he's not going to get it yet. I think turn 4 is going to be where it's at right now. Young Power's right on the back of this. Can Young Power go for the send that we've seen throughout the majority of these drives in turn 4 and go for it? No, he is not. Greeny's now under DRS. He saved a bit of DRS now for this opportunity. He may wait for the perfect moment. It may be too little too late, like we said. But all it takes is for people to get penalties, and Greeny could be up there fighting for the podium positions as well. Joey could be in this too as well, all we know. I don't know. Oh, just come on, someone blink and go for the move. Greeny just hungry to get the move, but it's just the air in front of him is just not helping. It's hard to follow cars around here. That's probably what's hindering him right now, which is a shame because he's on the soft tyres. Oh,
he has to do it now, surely.
Yeah, he's even
got
closer.
He's doing it. Here he goes. Greeny side by side with Ascom. And he's got just about enough ERS. He's got more ERS than Ascon. And surely he'll have to break it in towards turn 1. And this is it. The first one to blink. It is Greedy. He has to get this one done on the exit. Surely now. He's up into P4 and he is. Now he can see the front three ahead. And when they start to go for something, he's certainly in position as well. Don't forget Benny's also in there. He's got a lot of ERS saved up. But he does have to start using it if he wants to get himself up the grid. Ascon, though, I don't think he's going to go anywhere forward now unless there's some contact ahead. He's just going to keep his nose clean and see what happens in front.
Yeah, anything can happen.
Look at these three at the front. Look at these 4, in fact. Because look at Greeny. He's practically pushing Joey around the corner. And in towards turn 8. Greeny on the inside. Room's been left. Fair play by Joey. It's costing them both time, though. Surely Greeny will just back it off and make sure he's in the DRS. That's the most important bit. Oh, but if he got by, if he gets by soon, then it really is pressure on the front two. But I just don't think he has an exit, Greeny. He has not.
No.
And the top two are practically equal on ARS now. They're pretty much on the same. Joey nowhere near their point. And look at this. Greeny's defending as Benny goes and tries to pass Ascom, who scored up the inside of Greeny. And surely Benny will now get through. He's up into the top 5.
Yeah, a few more laps to go this race. My, oh my, Greeny, I just want Greeny to go for it, but he's not going for the move on Joey at the moment, so I think the battle for the win is going to be the top 3, unless Greeny could do a miracle, but we'll see. The final corner is where it was lost for him last lap, but he's got to nail that final corner and a few corners before that if he wants to have a chance of winning and potentially getting a podium. Let's see if he nails turn 7. Not quite perfect, but still pretty good. But we'll see how Joey does as well as he heads towards the final corner. But it looks like it's KJ's race to lose, to be honest. Young Power not going for the risky moves yet, but just waiting until lap 54, 55, or maybe even 56. Again, not quite good for Greeny. This is, I think, this may be race over for him. But still, he's having a really good race so far after the troubles he had at the start of the race. But to be honest, pitting when Benny did as well definitely helped him. And we'll have to wait and see. He's closing it up again. Oh, I just don't know who's going to win. Come on, someone blink.
6 different constructors as well in this top 6 fight. And a Haas as well behind, making 7 different constructors in the top 7. So plenty of points being shared around many teams. Great for the championship, but just which one wants to win the race? Look at Greeny. He's practically sliding out of the corners. He really wants to get a move on. He knows time's running out. But I think secretly they'll be betting on Young Power trying to go for everyone else. I wonder if they are just waiting for that moment. I think we're all waiting for that moment. When's it going to happen? Time's on night. We only have got 3 to go at the end of this one. And Young Power's got a full tank of the DRS. Elting's using his now, as is Young Power. Look at him. He's going full cylinder this time. And he's closing right up onto the back. Joey's going to get a fantastic run on this as well. But will Young Power just stay close and not go for it? Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Oh, Joey's so close. Greeny as well. They're practically within a second, that whole top 4. It's all Constantinoing up. But there's just no way through for them yet. Oh, you can't be this patient all race, lads. It's going to have to happen eventually. Someone has to go for it. Young Power is in the best position, but he just didn't want to do it yet because he knows it'll be him under pressure at the end. Luckily for him, like I say, Joey hasn't got enough ERS to really fight for it, I don't think. And so it's all in Young Power's hands, I think, as to who wins this race.
Yeah, I think Young Power's got to make the blink out of all the drivers right now, and then he'll probably send other people into moves too. But yeah, I think it's going to be who's going to have more ERS who's going to win this race, I think. And I think Young Power, I don't know how he saved his ERS, but he managed to save it. KJ was saving it throughout the whole of the second stint up until this point. And then he's been pushing because he knows that Greeny is catching, so is Joey and Young Power as well. And I'm a bit worried about this. They're going to go for the move on the final lap, but it may be too late. It's going to help, I think, Elting at this point, that no one's going to go for the move. I won't be surprised if the order stays as it is in terms of the lead of this race, but we don't know who's going to get the podium. Greeny can still get it. Greeny's just not getting there. I think that it's curtained for him. I don't know. Greeny's on 3% ERS right now.
Yeah, let's see how this all pans out, because I think Young Power, he's been playing Elting this whole time. He's got Elting to use more ERS than he wanted to, and he's only within a quarter of a second. And I think Young Power pretty much has his on his own hands. It's going to be about that move into turn 1, and surely he'll get it done. Tire wear might be a problem, we don't know, we'll wait and see. But here comes Young Power. as he heads around the final corner onto the final lap. Elting defending already. He's trying to break the toe. He knows exactly what's coming, and it's happening now. Here comes Young Park. Final lap overtake. Surely he's going to go for it on the inside. Elting does defend, and Young Park goes on his outside. He'll try and get a cutback. They make contact, and they drag through turn 2 and 3. And there's one more DRS zone to go. So this is going to be it for Young Park. If he can get the exit here, which he doesn't really, he'll have a chance. DRS, can he get it done? There'll be some lunge if he can manage it. Surely he's not got enough space. Young Park, just not close enough. Oh, it's painful. It's painful to watch. I don't know who's going to get it done. Young Parr still has a little bit more ERS and he's using it. Look at the closing speed as he heads towards turn 8, going for the move, and they make contact. Off the track goes Elting, but he still holds on to the momentum. And as we head towards the final 2 corners, believe it or not, the front 2 are side by side. We got yellows behind. We'll work out who that is in a minute. As the 2 make contact in the last corner, the overtakes happened off the track. What are the stewards going to say about that? Elting crosses the line to take provisional victory. Young Parr second, Joey third, Greeny fourth, and Benny fifth. Vascon sixth, but who gets that? Surely the stewards are going to have a look at that because the 2 leaders were both off the track.
I don't think you're allowed to overtake off track because we've seen that yesterday, but what an end to this race. It went from pretty much lights to flag from these 2, and they seem to be giving it everything right now, and it's KJ who wins the first race of the F2 season, but I have to say bravo to Young Parr for getting that send when he needed to. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for him, but you know, the top 6 definitely gave us an entertainment in this race, and I can't wait to see how it's going to unfold this season for pretty much all these drivers as well. I've got to say, it's been one of my favourite races in a while. We got another yellow flag and someone I think's gone off, but Elting is your race winner.
I do think they'll be okay with that one. I don't think the stewards will get involved with that, because frankly that was just hard racing. They both took that fight off the track. I think they'll just leave that one.
Yeah.
It's good fighting that. I wouldn't like to say a race that I get decided by steward, because sadly it would be the top 2. If anyone got a penalty, it would drop them out of the top 5. It wouldn't be fair that. So I hope they'll take that and leave it away from the stewards, because it was a fantastic race. The top 2 should be very proud of that one. It was fantastic to watch as well. And that race in general, we love our short track racing. I've seen it a few times, you've seen it a few times. But, oh man, it just gets better every time we do it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Can more leagues do Bahrain Short as a race, please? Because you're going to get a lot of treats, I have to say. And I think hopefully this will be on the calendar next season too, because I love it. So, your race order then, provisionally of course, because there may be stewards inquiries. We've got Elting in first, then we've got Young Parr, Jerry, Greeny, Benny, Ascom, Banana, Suku, Luca and Fabi are your points finishers. No one in the top 10 got the fastest lap, so no extra points there. We got Lars, Hadler, Antoine Petrux, M Short, Lamakina and Royal Valley and Cedric are your last finishers, and your non-finishers are Toxic Tomato and Gil. Gil, I think, retired on the first lap, or the second lap, which caused the safety car. But yeah, what a race. Some people actually made 2 stops, but we've got 6. Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my goodness, I think we've got all 10 teams in the top 10. That's crazy.
That is impressive, that, isn't it? As I said, it would be nice it's nice for the championship, that keeping it all competitive, and yeah, I think you're right. I think that is 10 different stars in the top 10. So that's impressive stuff. But that is one of the best season openers I've ever seen. I mean, it's the best I've seen in PSGL, definitely. You know, you can sack me, Connor, from F1 more often. I think that was brilliant. I'll stay here.
To be honest, I enjoyed F2 last season as well. I was close pretty much every race, but if we're going to get races like that every week, then I'm really, really excited as well. But we'll see if we'll try and get anyone in the interview box. But whilst we do that, I'm going to ask you, who's your driver of the day?
I mean, there's so many out there. Do you know, I want to say, I'm going to put Greeny up because he took the strategy call, as did Benny in fairness, but since Greeny finished ahead, I'll put him up. They pit him with that safety car, didn't appear to have any damage. They went for the strategy call to do 2 soft stints all the way to the end of the race, and it worked out. So I think it's a really good strategy call and a good result for Greeny. So I'll put him up.
Yeah, I think Greeny, we thought he was unlucky at the start, but the ultimate strategy helped him there, so yeah, I'll have to give it to Greeny. It would have been a first win in the actual regular season because he got wins in the FP and the Classic Championships, but he's never had a win in the regular season. He could have won this season if he's lucky enough, but we got one person in for the injuries. I believe it's his first season in F2 because he was in F3 last season, and what a way to kick it off by finishing in, I think it was P3. Yeah, it was P3, but we'll get him in as Jerry is waiting. Yep, he is in. Jerry, can you hear us?
Yep.
There we go. So what a race for you. You were in that DRS trade for pretty much all of it. Talk us about those final few laps for you. There must be an intense for you.
I'm sweating a lot. I was just sort of trying to control my ERS. I knew Greeny's tyres would be gone. So I thought as long as I stayed in DRS at the front too, I should be fine, and then hoped they crash, which they nearly did about 7 times. So yeah, pretty good race.
Bahrain short, obviously the first time a short track was used on the calendar as well. Did that change your approach in terms of practicing and what tyre strategy you were going to do, or?
Practicing was just a lot of short quali and time trial, but not in the race. It was just a soft medium. I tried the undercut, but I didn't get out of DRS, so it didn't really help me.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, you were in F3 last season as well. Now you're moving up to F2. How hard was it to go up against people that have been in this league for a while and someone that was challenging in this league from the get-go? How hard was it?
Really hard. I've obviously a lot of people in the league know I've not used no line before, but
really? Oh wow!
To turn it on, I think I've done 6 races with it now. To turn it on and turn it off, and get a podium in probably the most competitive league I'm in. It's quite proud.
What would you say was the most difficult moment of that race? Because you had a lot of battles with the front two. Was there a moment where you've almost lost it and you thought that the race could be over?
I'm trying to remember. There was a part where I dropped behind the Merc, and I can't actually remember. Oh yeah, when I missed my braking point into turn 1 about 18 times, and on one of them, when I went deep and I went off track, I lost the position. Just managed to keep in front of Hadler, and then I thought that was my podium over, but turned out my pace was quite good.
Yeah, and next week we head to another night track, but the longest track on the calendar, Singapore. Do you like that track? And is it going to be? Are you going to do better than last season? Because you raced there last season as well. Is it going to be more of a test for you now you're in a higher tier?
Well, I mean, I like it, especially if it rains. Because in F3 it rained and I led the race by like 6 seconds, but then I got a penalty with 2 laps to go. So, I definitely like the track, but I haven't tried it with no wine yet, which is what I'm going to spend a lot of this week doing. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it did rain in F2 last season, so it's quite common around here. But
it does rain everywhere. It rains absolutely every tier I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's mad.
I know. Do you have any questions for Joey, Aaron?
Well, I think you covered most of it. I just want to ask about that lap 43 when it was 3 wide for the lead. Were you actually aware that the umpire was going through? Because that was so nearly a freeway accident, that one. What was that like? Because you're leading it and you ended up third by the end of it. It seemed quite hectic.
Yeah, I knew as soon as it came out the second to last corner and Eltink was 3 tenths behind me, I think. I was like, he's easily going to overtake me because I was sat on 25% and he must have had about 70. So I went into lean down the straight because I needed to save a bit of fuel. And then when I saw Young Power coming, I was like, as soon as I saw them go side by side, and I was like, there's no point fighting this at all. So I just broke early and got out the way.
Fair enough. Well, I just want to say, great race as well. Fantastic entertainment. Keep that up all season. We'll have great fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that's everybody that we want to. I think that's everybody that's no one else in the rating room. Unfortunately, Young Power can't go in because his English is not good apparently, and I don't think we can get KJ either. So I think that wraps up the first round of the season, the best season openers I've ever commentating on, and I hope that carries on for the rest of the season. Next week we head to Singapore for round 2, the longest race of eternity. It's going to be a test of endurance and a test of physical pain, I have to say. It definitely hurts your shoulders, or I'm almost certain. I speak from experience, but it depends if you're on a wheel, definitely. If you're on a pad, I don't know, probably hurt your fingers or something. But we should be for an absolute classic next week. It rained last season. It pretty much rained every time F2 comes it rains. So I have a feeling it's going to rain in this season as well, but I hope not, because I think dry races are much better. But anyway, thanks for joining us this week. I've been Jess. Thanks Owen for joining me in the commentary box. I think it's been a lot of fun. I can't wait for this season ahead. I think it's going to be a very good season, I think.
I can't wait for the rest of the season. It's a shame it's such a short one, but yeah, if we get races as competitive as that, I think we're going to get a great championship fight as well. I cannot wait for the next race already. It's going to be a long week.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a long week. And it went to the final race last season. Well, the penultimate race last season. I hope it goes to the final race this season. I'm calling it right now. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll let you enjoy the rest of the PSGL streams that we got on off. I think it's F1, F5 and F6 right now. So enjoy those. And we'll see you next week for Singapore. Have a good evening, everybody. Goodbye.